Carrying on with Casanovas bedtime stories. I hope everybody's had a great weekend. I'm gonna read The Duchess here. Continuation. Care Bears Cares. Helping folks stay employed for years to come. The Queen doted on her new son. She looked forward to today's which Mabel Mamba Anderson took off spending hours with her infant in the nursery. Andrew said that this was her mother, not his nanny, who taught him to read and how to add up. His early education was officially hands of Miss Catherine Peoples, known as Mipsy, to the Royal Children, and be sure to get a copy of these kids. Care Bears Cares, keeping kids educated in Sesame Street for years to come. As long as I'm around, you people always have a job. While starting my own little bookstore here, and after-hours coffee shop and bakery, helping crisis communication dads stay going for years to come, no matter where I go next. One of many reasons why Soldier Dad here, proud father of one, of a toddler, enjoys keeping people going after hours. You know, most places close down after 9. So here I'm thinking, what better way to keep soldiers going than to run my own coffee store after 9 o'clock and be open all night long? Golly, who would think of that ingenuity? My own bookstore, that's right, here at my house, a home business. And it's also based on donations, so if there's people, ladies, women, gents who are baking and don't like throwing out food, especially at restaurants from where I walk to every night, other night, from here to Barney's, and people I support, and if y'all don't like throwing food out, donate it here. At least it'll go to a good cause, not in the trash can. Since most of you know where our chief lives, 328 Helm Street, Elizabethtown, the one and only dad of this house, with a nice cozy fireplace who sits here and, out of kindness of heart. I know a lot of veterans who would give a lot to have a conversation with somebody who cares for them after hours and everybody else in this neighborhood. I mean, it's an idea. My own business, cookies. What better way to start off Christmas and everything else with a hitch? Celebrating Christmas and Christ all year long. People pull up and you need coffee. Hey, it works. They buy some coffee, buy a book, and presto, before you know it, they feel better. Someone cares about neighbors and everybody else who are having a hard time getting to any place that has such things. There are people running around trying to help grandparents get groceries. I mean, it's a great home idea. Bakery, that's right. And coffee, little knickknacks and stuff here. And every donation helps, especially soldiers in need getting off the streets and getting jobs and stuff like that. Crisis communication outreach 24/7, not just news. Caring for others. Thanks again for everybody and your donations and all those I care about. Reading on for Peter Jennings report, fireworks launcher, Shania Twain, pal, and everybody else I care about in the world. And I will always continue to care about y'all everywhere in the world, making sure y'all don't do this at the end of the day. That's not what anybody wants. Being in the spotlight had meant that Charleston had been house trained virtually from birth, but the same could never be said of Andrew. She showed with all the hallmarks of being spoiled from every age, just as he was the apple in his mother's eye. He was easily the least popular royal child. The servants at Buckingham Palace had never seen they grew tired of his tantrums and talked to him below stairs. As the one with the patty, he showed respect for no one, enjoyed being addressed as sir, and learned to adopt a condescending tone with those whose livelihood he knew depended on his parents in good grace. He tied together the shoelaces of power and guardsmen, drove his pedal car at his mother's pet Corgus, and poured the bubble bath into the swimming pool at Windsor Castle. He frequently pushed the staff too far, and when one footman snapped and delivered a blow which sent the young prince across the room, the queen accepted that he got no more than he deserved, and to Andrew charged no punishment was meted on his assailant. Even the crew of the royal yacht Britannia was not exempt from his bad behavior. On one occasion, when he was permitted to light the rockets with vessel traditionally fired as it carried the royal family past the Queen's mother's Scottish home, the Casanovas, he set them off in rapid success. Instead of starting a gentle firework display, he made it appear at Britannia, where a battle under attack, and no least of all the Queen's mother, was amused. From age early, therefore, Prince Andrew enjoyed the privileged pleasures of being a member of Britain's first family, without having to experience any of the drawbacks. He was not required to suffer the early discipline which had been imposed on his elder brother, and the result was to show in his later behavior, when even his doting mother acknowledged that Andrew's angry moods were a problem. During Christmas holidays at Sandringham, he was often out of control to the point of recklessness. In other members of the royal family, usually regarded him as a high spirit, got around to concluding there was something of a pain. Prince Charles had always been taught never to talk to soap for such behavior, and would always bring instant rebuke from his father. Not so Andrew knew perfectly well that tearful eyes and pouting lips usually got him on his own way. His truculent manner didn't, however, earn him a few admirers, not least from some of the girls who moved in royal circles. During their stays at Sandringham over the New Year's period, Andrew and Andrew would go Park House to swim in the pool that Earl Spencer had built there. One of Andrew's poolside admirers was Lady Diana Spencer, with whom he always played hide and seek in the corridor of Sandringham. The late Lord Spencer saw that she was much smitten by the chunkiest of the Windsor. At the next day she showed no interest in his elder brother, Prince Charles, who was so much older, more interested in her sister. Sarah Diana's grandmother, Ruth, Lady Femoy, encouraged Diana to get to know Andrew better, even at their early stage. Her ladyship harbored the ambition that when Andrew became the Duke of York, Diana would be his Duchess. In anticipation of such a great day, Diana became known to her young friends, who knew that she kept his photograph in a locket as Duchess. One of New York's Eves, Andrew plucked up the courage and kicked her under the mistletoe. A problem arose when it came to time for 8-year-old Andrew mixed with ordinary boys of his own age. Weren't many of them around, so a chauffeur was dispatched to run up 3 small boys from the Royal Mews to form Cub Scout pack at Buckingham Palace, when it became obvious from their boredom that their numbers were insufficient, and outside interest too limited. The first Marylebone pack, whose members had previously met in Burson Square, were obliged to merge with them. The boys of First Marylebone were bused to the Buckingham Palace for regular meetings in the gardens in fine weather and the private cinema when it rained. Like other parents, the Queen and Princess Philip had to provide their son with a uniform costume. $3 from his own pocket money, Andrew paid a small weekly subscription. 3 weeks later, a scout group was conveniently found at Heatherdown with His Royal Highness amongst its first members. He wore the regulations uniform of mushroom-colored trousers, bottle green shirt, and green beret. From Heatherdown he was dispatched in the footsteps of his elder brother to the somewhat Spartan of Scottish public school of Gordonstone. By his now co-education, it had a reputation for turning out well, balanced pupils, although not necessarily brilliant ones. Again, not this more popular with other boys. He nevertheless reversed the situation with the female pupils, despite earning a reputation sniggered because of his never-ending repertoire of blue jokes. Andrews did quite well scholastically, and by the end of 1977 passed the last of his 6 O-level examinations, prompting his headmaster to declare, "Our philosophy is to give a broad education, but we don't overemphasize the academic at the expense of other activities." Prince Andrew, for instance, enjoyed all sports. Earlier that year, the school's most celebrated pupil had joined the exchange scheme, which took him to Lakewood, an exclusive college in Ontario. Having traveled there in Andrew Cambridge, he learned to camp out in Arctic conditions and snowbound forests, and canoe down the Polar River, and ice skate, and earn from the Canadian media the tag 6 feet of royal sex appeal. It was in Canada at the 1976 Olympics that Andrew was first romantically smitten all 16 at the time when Sandy Jones's office hosted the sailing site. Her father, Connell Cabin Jones, was Director General of the Olympics yachting events. Who knew that? Whether she was teaching him to dance the bump or they were off the dance floor drinking fruit cup and eating donuts. Andrew kept an arm firmly around her waist, and the Canadian nation was convinced that it was the last going to ever a representation of royal family. Alas, the Romans did not blossom, although the pair dated several times after the ride-up to visit me to Florida in 1980. Sandy said that the prince was just like any teenager on the block. He is a real character who always likes to make people laugh. He loves girls, he likes jazz. Elton John, the Eagles, and Olivia Newton-John. I guess he is really attracted to women. He really liked to be where there were women. I think that because they didn't give him a rough time when he was at the home of people acting this garden canal, he tended to go into a room the ladies were. While I went into the room with the men, whether they were the grandmas or little girls, he always gravitated toward the ladies and was utterly charming to them. He knew they weren't trying to analyze or compete with him, but he always had problems with the boys because he felt they were rivals. They refused to accept him for what he was. In her heart, Sandy knew that she had lost her prince, whom traveled to Britain in 1978 with her school choir and was invited to the palace by Andrew, proceeded to introduce her to his latest girlfriend. The girls loved Prince Andrew, and his repercussion of feelings soon earned him the nickname Randy Andy. One of the Gordonstone's girls he took home to Windsor Castle with Cleo Nathaniel. She gave away gracefully to Julie Guinness, a daughter of the prominent brewer. Later regaled her fellow peoples with a tale of how tireless royal date almost got barred from Annabelle's. Ever anxious to impress the girls, when he promised to take Julius to dance at the Annabelle's, he was reminded at the door that even his father obeyed the Mayfair Club rule to wear a tie. Despite his close attention to the girls, Andrew left Gordonstone in 1979 with a credible record. He passed all three of his A-level subjects, English, history, and economics, political science, and sufficient to win an Oxford or Cambridge place if he desired. He had also demonstrated some qualities of leadership as head of his house coming and of his service. The Air Training Corps, he learned to fly a plane and won his parachute wings, but Andrew was best remembered the school for his prowess in sport. He played cricket for the first, rugby, tennis, and squash, also learned pilot guy. Within days of leaving the school's incapacity and the deputy hired to the Rome, he joined his parents on first foreign tour. They traveled to Tanzania, Malawi, Botswana, Zambia before he returned to start his Royal Navy career. Dartmouth weapons for officer training as 24-a-year midshipman, 24,000 a year midship. He tasted for beauty queens, became apparent when the 1979 Kosair girl whom Di Llewellyn, not to mention the Wimbledon favorite Anastasia and the Red Prince, and also admire the former Miss United Kingdom, Caroline Seaboard. Caroline talked freely to newspapers about their dates, and Andrew let it to be known that he dropped her from that reason. She was most noticeably followed by a model, Kim Curry, in 1980, and her cousin Kim Diaz, another model the following year. But it was the arrival of Kosair in 1901 that marked a watershed in Andrew's love life. She was amongst the small bands to whom Andrew designated a codename with the Buckingham Palace switchboard operator. Any other servant requested her name. Koo was told Campbell's around the place. When they moved to Baltimore for the royal family holiday at the end of the summer 1982, no one was surprised to see the attractive Fiona in attendance. Although her appearance in the Queen dinner table in gold rascal, it was occasional did raise a few eyebrows. One in Her Majesty's service commented, "We never minded having Koo around. She had no airs, grace, and seemed more one of us than of them. More important, in our HRH was always more even-tempered. When she were around, her presence seemed to put an end to his tantrums. Andrew's shipmates might have preferred it, therefore she had been with him When he was at sea, one of them recalled he would be like a bear with sore heads when things weren't going his way, pressed on what might exacerbate his irritable condition. The sailors added he was particularly unpleasant with any member of the crew who had overindulged. During the shore leave, he never missed an opportunity to remind people that he did not drink and would not tolerate bad behavior, and from who did he was particularly intolerant of drunks. It was Prince Philip who finally succeeded in convincing Andrew that his romance with Mark Stark was going nowhere. Although he kept in touch with her by telephone for considerable time thereafter, Andrew accepted that he had to abandon all hope of settling down with his very nice girlfriend, and he embarked on a series of adventures with women who, if no more suitable than Koo, were certainly less likely to leave in a permanent scar. One of these was a former model 13 years his senior, Vicky Hodge. He conducted an 80-day affair with her HMS Invincible made stopover in Barbados in March 1983. Baronet, Donna, Vicky, and two young friends, Lucy Winsome and Tracy Lamb, were on holiday on the island, which they were invited to a party in the wardroom aboard Invincible. Clearly proud of her royal encounter, Vicky later revealed every detail of it, including his mission that could have been first lover, that he was definitely in love with her, and that the Queen had really liked her. During a moonlight moment amongst the Simpson flowers, Vicky said he revealed to her that his fantasy was to dress up as a frog and go to a party, kiss a beautiful girl, and then turn into a prince. Sound familiar? The Prince in the World War. One of many favorites in All Dogs Go to Heaven and other Walt Disney movies, Lady and the Tramp, Pinocchio, Cinderella, Sorcerer's Stone, Beauty and the Beast, God Bless, and many others. Who remembers The Little Mermaid? Uh-oh, I see I got someone's attention. I can do the lyrics backwards thanks to some sibling. No mercy, siblings, no mercy! That one was coming out real fast. She knows this face real well. God bless that little scrawny neck. Goofballs. During that moment amongst the sunflowers, Vicky said he revealed to her that his fantasy was to dress up as a bride and go to a party, kiss a beautiful girl, and then turn into a prince. When the girl who was finally to replace the truly glamorous Miss Starks in his affection did arrive, His Royal Highness had neither the time nor the inclination to dress up as a frog. God bless. Gone with the Windsors. I'm not a person to obey. Meekly, Sarah Ferguson. Interesting. The moment Miss Sarah Ferguson of Lavender Gardens, London, S.W. took her place for luncheon in the state dining room at Windsor Castle, seated next to Prince Andrew and under the reassuring eye of the Princess of Wales. A chain of events began to unfold that would ultimately rock the house of Windsor to its foundation. Andrew had concluded from his many amorous experiences with women that he was the kind of man who had to fall desperately and helplessly in love. His initial infatuation were to lead to a lifelong comment. It is going to come like a lightning bolt, and you're going to know it there. And he explained the initial catalyst certainly come to like a thunderbolt. Everything comes into place, and there's a channel that opened up. Nothing as elemental as that happened to the prince that day, 20 June 1985, after the Queen's guests taking drinks in the green drawing room, filled into a lunch in their ascot finery minus the hats. Each year, one of them was required to wear what did happen before the meal had been completed. The royal party hats quickly in place had adjourned for the open carriage procession to the race course. Was that he and Sarah started a long process of identifying just how compatible they might be. A channel opened up, and as far as Andrew was concerned, Sarah's part in his life until had been confined to a walk around in various light comedies, which had taken together form only a tiny segment of the big royal picture, in which he was a star performer. She might have been present on these occasions, but she was never the one. This was a true Smith Lawn in her tomboy days, as if it was later at sitting room, where Sarah had been invited, but no one's friend in particular. The nearest thing that I got to any sort of physical contact was a house party at Floor Castle Not into an 8-room Scottish home of Andrew's friends, the Duke and Duchess of Roxburgh, when blindfolded for a game of hide and seek, she had found him crouching under a table and pinched his bottom. He saw her clearly, perhaps for the first time, through the lens of his viewfinder, where he asked her to pose outside the Venom design castle for photographs he was taking his private collection. He discovered that the shot from certain angles, she was not only photogenic, she was beautiful. There was always humble beginnings that started to start somewhere, said Andrew, when Sarah was wearing his 25,000 ruby and diamond engagement ring, and he had changed his mind about life-altering thunderbolts. We were made to sit next door to each other at lunch. Yes, said Sarah. He made me eat chocolate profit rolls, which I did not want to eat at all. I was on a diet. For Andrew, Royal Ascot had been a very welcoming interlude between his native career at Port and Dorset and his first offshore tour of Canada at the Monarch's Son. Foremost, he was determined to enjoy his few days off. He told Sarah that he fancied some of the rich chocolate pudding. Speaking of pudding, God bless for Baker Dad here. Finished off our pushing out. What better way to tease kids when they come over with you bachelorettes? Being into women for a single father of Tennessee in this big, cozy bachelor home of the Army's best morale division headquarters while keeping soldiers off the streets and everybody else. Finished off our portion to find that Andrew had been joking, would not touch even a spoonful. Sarah did the only reasonable thing. She whacked him on the shoulder. I didn't have it, so I got it. He said, it started from there. Andrew, little Jeff, had been his rather clumsy way of flirting with Sarah to see if they were on the same wavelength. They were to show you it meant no harm. He put his arm around the jacket of her cream silk. She laughed, and they set off for a splendid day at the race. The couple were photographed in the royal enclosure, which in recent time had been a no-go area for divorcees like her mother and father. The willingness ever to link Andrew's name with any girl on his farm printed the pictures, but the cognizity muttered, probably that she was not of the usual plain-up varieties of the founding princess portfolio. Diana sitting with them in the royal box had already realized something about Sarah and Andrew, and that neither saw for themselves after experience of love and marriage amongst their parents' circle of a child that was the very set a young woman. Sarah at 25 desperately wanted to settle down with a man who loved her for herself. The affair with McNeely and Ingrid was her life. She was heading towards it. Fine pit stop. Andrew, more mature about the Falklands War, but still searching for self-gratification in the arms of beautiful young lovers, was fast reaching the point of departure between his libidinous past and more reasonable future. It was Diana, her antenna turned to the sexual politics around her, who read the signs of them as surely as matchmaker. He decided that not only were they ready for marriage, they were ready for each other. This meant changing the royal family's attitude towards Sarah, who, like many of the young women who had grown up on the fringe of their world, was still regarded as first-rate, reserved, but never first choice, never the one. It was a slow process. In the weeks that followed, Royal Ascot, Diana made the point to the Queen, Princess Charlotte, that Sarah had been invited to the Windsor Castle, a single woman in her own right. She should be treated as not typecast as someone's daughter. The Queen especially was receptive. Kustark had been unacceptable to her, and Andrew's fling with the Vicky Hodgson between each out that was suspected of the wiles of sexually exciting adventures the boy needed looking after. What Sarah's pedigree might lack in some desirable way was just about balanced by her single-minded attitude to fidelity. She could make Randy and Andy tear up his little black book, phone numbers, and turn toward family life instead. The Queen would not stand in her way. Sarah had made her entrance at precisely the time they had started to go unnerving, away from the royal who had until then filled an intriguing necessary role in what Prince Charles came to speak as the royal soap opera Prince Michael of Kent, the beautiful and somewhat mysterious divorcee who had married the Queen's cousin. Princess Margaret reveled in the spotlight for her newfound celebrity. Despite the minor reputation of being labeled Prince Bushy, she gave great value. Unfortunately, due to an experimental friendship she was conducting with Warren Hunt, a divorced millionaire from Dallas. We're gonna stop there, kiddies. Marvelous. God bless my caring heart. Carrying that on with pride. And you kiddies Love Daddy's bedtime stories. Y'all need to pick up a copy of this at your local bookstores. I feel for those who are not near bookstores. All the more reason why I want to have a bookstore business after hours. And help people and kids stay educated. Don't go to bed early like me, all hours of the night. Who love a coffee shop dad, bakery, thinker of a dad here. Crisis communication. Outreach over support a father who likes keeping veterans and everybody else employed for weeks to come. Thinking of how to get this going here. There's always a home business that starts off the ground, not just since the Ringley Brothers, Galley, and those launching to the moon and Mars. Now we have Mars to go to. Wait away, NASA. How many of you seen Finding Nemo? Nemo's dad had finally let him go to school, but on his first trip, the curious clownfish finds himself in trouble, looks around for Nemo, Marlin, and the other parents and other children are worried about their friends. Reading on. Finding Nemo and Dory here. Uh-oh, Nemo gets caught by a scuba diver and plopped into a fish tank in Australia. Dennis also, while Nemo makes a friend to his own new home. Look for these colorful gems that are in the fish tank too. Do you see this fish tank? Like the one in Dollywood in Surville? There's a big aquarium over there. I keep going as much as the Marine Institute of the world. That's right, and every other Sea World Marine Institute. Do you see these aquariums? How many see aquariums at dentists and local hospitals? Do you see that? How many can find those gems? Do you see any gems around? Look at these gems right here. Do you see these gems? Yeah. Do you see where they're at? Ta-da. Uh-oh. Marlin heads out to search for Nemo and he meets a friend, forgetful blue tank named Dory. Together they hitch a ride to Australia with Crush and the sea turtles. Look carefully to find Crush's young Squirt and these other cool dudes. Y'all see Squirt and the cool dudes? Now look at the photo. Match and look kind of game here. Do you see where all the little cool dudes are? Y'all see where they're at? And can you find these little cool dudes? Yeah, it helps to look out for your brothers and sisters. That's what that really teaches, huh? So they don't get lost at malls. Like, remember what I taught a while ago? If you get lost, go to the customer service center and ask for your mommy and daddy. There you go. Or ask an adult to help them find you. At the nearest desk, they'll help you find your kids. That's right. After a long search, Marlin and Dory find Nemo safe and sound. They all return to the reef, and Dory decides to stay. Now do some searching herself to find these good friends of Marlin and Nemo and look at the reef. Do you see that? There you go. Can you find Dory and her friends? Finding Nemo and everybody. How many can you find them? Do you see where they're at? God bless. Now Dory's on an adventure around to find her family and Marlin and Nemo help her get to the Marine Life Institute in quarantine. Dory meets a Hank, an octopus with a missing tentacle who can help her find her way around finding these things while going to Barney's and Nobles and everything else in supporting bookstores that are open during the day. How many can find these after hours? Do you see these interesting objects? Coffee maker and all them? Okay. Can you find all these right here? There you go. Where they at? There's some. Chef Russell here. Getting a home delivery system up and running slash online website for baker chef here, Russell. That's right, a home website for bakery goods. K-Bear likes to bake after hours, so it depends on what people are into. I mean, if you're into cookies, then, there'd be an option there to choose from the list. As to what Kipper is into, I'll let you more know about this home bakery crisis outreach coffee place to chill out at after hours. I mean, it's not rocket science. I see this stuff in romantic comedy movies. It's not hard to start up a business after hours, even a little restaurant, out of my home on the backyard porch and be like, chill out, dude. And, take a load off and, like, welcome to my home. The stars are the oyster here, and have a cup of coffee with a soldier who knows how to talk to people. You know what I'm saying? There are people who give a lot for a cup of coffee and a book to read, especially a book they just bought from me here at my humble bookstore. Then I'm starting up and everything else that's arriving donations. It's based on donations. It helps donations and it helps turn around and it helps me don't sit there and give back to the troops. I mean, that's my way of giving back, as much as walking from bookstores to restaurants. People don't like throwing out food. At least if it came to this soldier's home, it wouldn't go to waste. There's another idea, what better way to keep a home restaurant going, not just the stuff I make out of everything I'm going to be selling is going to be homemade, fresh stuff. So, nothing but the best in many cultures here. The marine life in Stu's huge place, Dory learns that she's from the ocean exhibit on the other side of the MLI from quarantine, while Hank and Dory try to get there. See if you can spot some of these aquarium personalities. Welcome to the Marine Life Institute. Explore the wonders of the Pacific Ocean. Belly beluga whale, Destiny whale shark. Did you know an octopus has 3 hearts, kids? 3 hearts. That's right. The heart shape. Supporting Hearts Association of America. The octopuses have 3 hearts. Did you know that? Well, now you do. Hank the octopus. See that? 3 hearts. Can you spot all these friends right here? And where they're at? You see that? God bless. Do you see that? Where could they be? Home of the blue tang. And don't forget the gift shop. There's a gift shop in every SeaWorld and every aquarium institute, like the one I support in Dollywood.com. There's a big aquarium there. Y'all should go over there and see it sometime. Especially during the holidays coming and, fall season here, running my own home bakery system. Getting it started and everything else. Coffee, kittens, caboodles, little gift shop on the corners. That's Kip's ideas, while watching You Got Mail movie. That's right, Kip. Not just singing, the movie's making it happen for the troops, supporting everybody. Oh, what better way of romantic dad to catch a woman's attention? She knows where the cookies are. See, all the better to help mom and dad. Mom, not be so shy anymore. Aw, for a meeting place over here, I'm trying to get going off the ground. While keeping ignorance away from y'all. That's what Daddy does. After hours, he keeps an eye out for everybody that keeps an eye out for him during the day. Because honestly, Daddy needs sleep like everybody else. That's right. Catching on real fast, huh? Dory is washed down a drain that leads out into the ocean all alone. She just keeps swimming and finally finds her parents, her mother and father. I've been waiting for Dory, and Dory found them in her own special way. Look around, find these underwater things. All the more reason why we gotta keep our oceans clean, especially free of loose fish lines in oceans. If you see a loose fish line tied around a forest tree, you don't need to cut that loose. It'll stop birds from being trapped. Not great when you come around the seashore and there's a bird trapped by a fish line. Not humorous. The end. We're gonna say some prayers. Marvelous. Before that, in the back, there's a great educational part. It helps kids stay educated, especially those who have pronunciation problems. Like, we're going to go over this one for Kindergarten Cop of a supportive dad here. Not just the movie Arnold Schwarzenegger played in, an amazing movie. Or Toy Story of a dad here. Let's see, let's try one. Hello, parents. Hello, are additional interactive learning activities for you and your child. Each activity focuses on a different skill, from rhyming to shaping, recognition to counting. You and your child will probably come up with some more ideas for look and find activities as you read together. Care has his own educational after-school program, not just adults. Rhymes with cold. Anybody? Go. Rhymes with vest. Chest. Rhymes with chip. Ship. Rhymes with pale. Sound. Rhymes with ask. Any kids know? Mask. Say that to yourself. Rhymes with bank. Tank. That's right. And the rest to know. The end. You're gonna have to go get the book. That's right. Tell mommy and daddy to bring you to your local bookstore in Europe and your country and get this book. And get the real book because it helps the publisher, helps the author, and it's by Phoenix International Publications, adapted by Kathy Broderick, illustrated by Warner McGee and DC Sicko Studios, based on the Walt Disney movie, Walt Disney Enterprises. God bless Walt Disney and everybody else in Florida. Hi, y'all down there. And the Florida Institute of Marine Life. And SeaWorld and everybody else. I keep going. Beluga whales, kittens, capoodles, get the book. Thank you very much from Cat Bear's Cats. Proud daddy of a 7-year-old little boy. I hope you all have a marvelous night, and remember to say your prayers before you go to bed, especially those kids without parents. You know this daddy's trying vainly hard to help you find parents worthy of you, to play ball with, to joke and laugh and cry, and talk to, not just watching movies like Sleepless in Seattle, diehards like me right here for a romantic dad. That's right. So here I am trying vainly hard to help that caring hearts feel better about your world and your life. Remember those teachers out there that you go to school with every morning? They're not there to give you a hard time. They're there to show you a better future. So stay educated and don't forget to brush your teeth, people at beds, because hope you did your homework. Much love to you teenage adults who are waiting for the next chapter on my book here. Aww, especially those diehards at the airport, happily ever after. Y'all hang in there. I'll continue that tomorrow. Kid Bears cares and the day after. You know, I'm always thinking of ways of helping folks feel at ease and feel better about themselves, not just graveyard shifters who work vainly hard while listening to Die on Me. And everybody else, the Duchess dad here who so rocks around the world. I mean, not just helping folks listen to music. It's important of staying educated. For somebody who lives in this big old single playboy pad of a house by myself, who doesn't need riff-raff or anything else around. If you see that, pick up the phone and report them. They have no business being under my house. They have no business sneaking in through the backyard. And they have no business being on your house garage, attic, what have you. Keep an eye out. Appreciate it. And watch your health, too, all over the world. Stand up to crime. How else is anything ever going to be safe? Y'all got to look out for one another and eat your vegetables. Much love. Stay educated. Y'all kids, take a knee and we'll do our prayers. You ready? Oh Lord, lay me down to sleep, my soul to keep. Watch over my mom and dad and those who gave me life. Thank God, oh Lord, for watching out for me. May I know kindness goes a long ways, oh Lord, versus ignorance. For a daddy who supports nobullies.org ever, no more.org ever. against domestic violence and everything else, oh Lord, while helping kids stay fed at night, not just feeding those at restaurants. Care Bears cares, trying to help people stay afloat. See Biscuit, the dollars here. Care Bears knows how to keep people going as much as seeing it in the movies or the news. Trying to help y'all feel better, not so lonely in the world, especially those in Africa, those in camp refugees, and those who love educational dad here, who makes Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and Sesame Street, the Muppets, and everybody else I support. Keep going on the air, Sesame Street, especially in the Muppets. Kippas tries vainly hard to help you kids stay educated and not drop out of school. Remember that. May the Lord watch over those less fortunate, O Lord. In Jesus' name, Amen. Yeah, I'll feel better knowing that this daddy cares for you. Remember that while you're in a hospital bed, that someone right here in ElizabethTown cares about you wholeheartedly. And keeps those who do wrong and messed up stuff the heck away. Keep an eye out for one another. Remember, sharing is better than not sharing at all. Be kind to one another in school as they to you. Even if you don't get the same thing as they do, and you don't have the same clothes as you, that doesn't make you different. That makes you special. Remember that your daddy and mommy work very hard, and those without parents, I'm trying vainly hard to help you stay happy. Know that there is a daddy right here who cares about y'all, and is trying vainly hard to keep you going. Don't give up your dreams, ever. Not just in movies or Walt Disney movies or Star Wars. Helping you along the way. Stay tuned, stay educated, and stay positive. Don't quit. You're almost there. Here I am thinking of ways outside the box and keeping people going. Especially those around me with kids. Who can relate to or don't really get related to. Don't know how that feels. How a guy spends so much time caring for all of you before him. 10 plus years deployment and counting for a 7-year-old boy dad here. Who doesn't take crap from nobody. That's not what an officer's son does. Y'all hang in there and watch your health, kids. City of Angels dad here rocks. For a rock star dad, Rolling Stones. You've got mail and everybody else. Heidi Klumpal and everybody else I care about who know how to park our hiney parts here. And everybody around the world, remember that this daddy loves you wholeheartedly. In Jesus' name, I hope God watches over your health too, because there are many in the hospital beds, not just Harlem Memorial. I donate time with teddy bears. Teddy bear donations too, who I like helping cheer up, not just staring at four walls after watching City of Angels movie. You know, I know exactly how it feels for them. Y'all hang in there and remember that God loves you very much. Much love. Care Bears Cares, here at home reporting live. Peter James at heart. Oh, General Patton, dad, supporter, and everybody else that God made me. Much love. Here in ElizabethTown, Kentucky. Y'all hang in there and stay positive and drink juice and vegetables. Much love. Y'all stay healthy and eat healthy too.